Stephen Mullaney, James Taylor and Ricky Vessels all struck 50s as Middlesex and Nottinghamshire played out an even first day of their LV County Championship game at Lords, where Stephen Finn continued his rehabilitation with 4 more wickets. Winning the toss, Nottinghamshire, fresh from their 45-run win over Lancashire last week, made a slow start after batting through Mullaney and Phil Jakes, who was preferred in the Notts team to Alex Hales. Jakes didn't wait to see the umpire's raised finger after nicking James Harris behind to bring an end to his innings on 14 after half an hour of play. In spite of taking a 6-for in the heavy defeat to Sussex at Hove last week, Chris Rogers again kept the new ball away from Finn. The others bowled tight lines with just the occasional ball for Michael Lum and Mullaney to go after, although the latter hardly played a shot in anger in the opening session of the day. Notts already look a determined team this year. Once on, Finn bowled with some pace and was rewarded with a wicket of Lum, who, trying to make the most of the short grandstand boundary, top-edged a pull to Sam Robson, having made 17. That brought Taylor in for his first innings of what could be a very important summer for him, and he immediately looked good as he began to dominate a third-wicket partnership with Mullaney. Into the afternoon, and the battle between the diminutive Taylor and the very tall Finn was a fascinating one. Finn was bowling with pace again from the pavilion end, but Taylor was quickly onto anything hittable on a pitch which was looking increasingly good for the batsman. A square cut from Taylor soon had him at an excellent half-century, which had occupied only 63 deliveries. He hadn't bothered with much running, and that was the 11th time that he'd found the boundary. He now looked very well set and ready to put his side into a strong position. He was certainly batting with great fluency as he made 62 of the 81 runs for the third wicket partnership with Mullaney, who continued to block at the other end. But Taylor then missed a flick to leg off Harris and was given out LBW, although he may have felt that he'd hit the ball. He left anyway with his side on 131 for 3. Harris then struck again 4 balls later as Samit Patel picked up his second duck in succession, a thin edge to John Simpson, enough to see the all-rounder out. The batsmen just keep on coming for Notts though, and Mullaney was now joined by Ricky Vessels, who played 2 pivotal innings in his side's nervy win over Lancashire just last week. He got going here with a 6 off Tip Murtagh. And Mullaney finally came out of his shell, having been batting for nearly 4 hours by planting Ollie Rayner back over his head for another maximum. And that helped the opener move to a very hard-working half-century, which had taken him 171 balls to reach. Alas for him, all that hard work was undone to the next ball he faced. He went fishing off Finn, allowing Darwin Milan to complete the dismissal in the slips. Mullaney departed for 52 out of his side's 164 for 5, and more wickets now would have seen the home side on top for the first time in the day. Instead, they were held up by a combination of Chris Reed and Vessels, who put together an important partnership which once again restored parity. Between them, they produced some delightful shots too. Vessels made it 2 50s in 2 innings as he clipped Harris through mid-on for a 3. He'd struck an excellent 90 and a very important 39 in his first match of the summer, and his good form continued as he got to his mark of 86 balls. From those, he'd found the boundary on 6 occasions and cleared it once. Reed's last game at this ground was a very handy knock which played a big part in his side winning the Yorkshire Bank 40 competition. He's not been at his very best with the bat in the 4-day game though for some time now, but he was somewhere near his best in the evening session as his side just began to get ahead thanks to a partnership of 86 which took the visitors to their second batting bonus point. Finn then was given the second new ball and immediately had an effect by removing both batsmen. On 40, Reed was beaten for pace and lost his off stump. Before, in the next Finn over, Vessels, with 58 runs to his name, fended to Rayner in the slips to leave with Nottinghamshire on 259 for 7. So honours were once again even, and it took an extraordinary cameo from debutant Peter Siddle to perhaps just shade the day in his side's favour. He put bat to ball to great effect, smashing one boundary after another to ensure that, at the very least, his team would post 300. He looked as if he'd spent all his days as a batsman. This was the best of his shots, and if he bats like this too often, there may be some fun and games if he spends any time at the crease with the currently injured Andre Adams. A leading edge off Harris brought an end to the Australian's 35-ball innings, which had brought him 40 runs and taken his side to 306 for 8, Owen Morgan with the catch. The ever-improving Luke Fletcher and Andy Carter saw out the last 4 overs, and so Notts will aim to get to 350 on the second morning before seeing how Siddle goes with the ball in his hands. His side will go again on 315 for 8. It could be a close contest again.